We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.
We've known each other since mid-80s. We're both very, very good-natured drunks. I've been sober now for 16 years, and I want Brett to feel this way too. One thing that I would like the public at large, and Brett especially, to know that, Brett, you are enough just the way you are. You are just as much fun sober as you are knee-walking drunk. I feel so blessed to have a friend like Brett.
Welcome back. That was Hollywood actress and Brett's best friend, Tracy Scoggins. And Brett, I want to ask you, because I noticed you looked away. How do you feel seeing that?
That brings back a ton of memories. It's mixed. First thing I feel is, oh my, I love her so much, and we had such a good time. She and I were, I don't want to give her away, we were great drinking buddies. We had a blast, and she got sober first. She's been sober, I think, 16 years. She helped me a lot initially to get sober because her mom had cancer, she was dying, she went home to take care of her, and while she was in the hospital with her mom dying, if I called, she got the phone. That's what went into my getting sober the first time. And that took a lot from her to take the calls, you know what I mean? She's there with her mom. And so I kind of feel like I let her down, you know, a little bit because of what she gave up to help me get sober. So it's a lot of mixed feelings with her because I love her a lot.
But that's her story.
Do you see that you're focusing on her life and her feelings and not your life and your current predicament? It's really interesting how we will constantly deflect attention to someone else so that we don't have to look at what's really going on with us.
Yeah.
So what is going on, Brett? What are you running from?
That is the zillion-dollar question. My first drink was on an airplane. Someone said, if you're nervous, have a drink, because I was nervous. I was always nervous. I grew up just nervous. So I had a lot of things that I was kind of like always trying to deal with, but hey, I'm gonna brush it off and make a joke of it and have a good time. And everything, I always used humor as a way to kind of deal with things. So maybe, I mean, I've never really looked into it that much. I drank.
But you know what I think is interesting is the original message. Have a drink, it'll calm you down. And even on the day of relapse, you were dealing with emotional issues that you said, I don't want to deal with this.
Interesting.
So are you using, is that your trigger? Is that feeling of nervousness, that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of anger and frustration, the I don't want to deal with my emotions?
Yes, anger, thank you. Anger, huge, huge. Resentment. But yeah, what am I gonna do? Go beat them up? You know what I mean? So what I'll do is thank you. I will drink and I will say everything that I would say to that person while I'm drinking. They're not in the room, obviously, but a few times they may have been. But for the most part, yeah, anger and resentment, no clue how to deal with that in a healthy way.
Here's one thing I see that's really, really common. That is people that were bullied and or grow up with social anxiety out of their system. When we say go into a 12-step meeting with all these strangers or go to this recovery support group with all these strangers and share your story, what does it feel like to even think about doing that?
Oh man, I was in rehab for like 5 or 6 days. I left.
Why'd you leave?
I got to the point where they got too personal and the walls went up. No, we're not gonna go there. I'm gonna go drink.
The anxiety.
You know what I mean? And so I drank for another 3 years, I think, or no, 5 years. I drank till I couldn't drink anymore, till it was like life and death to me. And then you forget, after 4 years, you're like, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. We definitely are able to minimize and rationalize.
It's interesting though. I've never dealt with really any of those issues, the anger issues, the resentment issues, some of the betrayal issues.
So let's deal with them.
There's all these things that you're like, what do you do?
Ready?
I don't know, what do I have to do?
I see
That's the question. Did you see the fear in his eyes? When you said, are you ready to deal with them? He said, I don't know. What does that look like? What do I have to do?
We're not here to exploit or sensationalize your story. We're here to get to know your story so that we can get you on the path to get you help. So if the walls were down, what would happen to you?
The walls were down. Would I get sober? Is that what you're asking? Or
what would it feel like?
Probably very uncomfortable for a while. You know, and then what do you do with all that?
So that's what I want to help you with, but I need to know that this is not going to be another attempt at sobriety that you don't take real seriously or that you don't lean in.
You didn't see me 4 years ago. It was not a good place. It was seriously not a good place.
You mean before you drank?
No, before I quit.
Before you quit.
It was seriously down the road of, I'm gonna die. Nobody got that. I would try and tell my family, and nobody got it, because I wouldn't let you see me hungover. I would go sweat it out, work it out, and then see you like everything's fine. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely want to keep that image of, no, I don't really have this going on. But I was dying. I mean, this stuff, it was serious, and it stopped me because I got scared to death I was going to die. I thought I was having a heart attack.
And so today, now, though,
I'm heading back.
And it's not you were dying, you are dying.
yeah.
You're in the middle of it again. And it may not look as messy as it did then, but you're a drink away from it.
Yeah.
It did 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. So today is a wake-up call. And I think what you need is treatment. Because what happens in treatment is you are going to learn, you're going to have counseling alongside 12-step recovery. And the counseling piece is going to help reduce your social anxiety so that you can learn to be with people and deal with the sadness. Because without people, you don't go forward in recovery. You've got to lean on people. And I know you can't do that. You don't have the tool set to do that or the skill set to do that, but this opportunity will give you that. It's incredibly important. What we would like to offer you is a world-class program. It's called Northbound Treatment Services, and it's here in Orange County, but they work with people all over the country because they're really well known at combining those two really well, doing alcohol and drug treatment, but also doing the counseling and therapy component. I know these guys, and the part that you might miss that happens a lot when people go into inpatient treatment is they go in and people try to browbeat them into sobriety instead of love them into sobriety, and that's not what this place is about. You're going to land in a place where you felt loved, supported, and cared for, and not judged. But that's their responsibility. Your responsibility is to show up, commit, and stay in there.
Stay in treatment.
Stay. I like that. Stay. Is that something you can commit to doing?
Don't run out.
Don't run out
Don't
when
run.
it gets uncomfortable.
These guys have been kind enough to offer this service to you, and this could be a life-changing moment for you.
Okay.
Are you willing to go?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm terrified of it, but I'll do it. See what happens.
Trust, lean in, and stay.
That's what you did.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. And no matter how uncomfortable it got for me, I knew there was a prize at the end. And the prize was my dignity and my self-esteem and my self-worth and my ability to walk free as a sober woman in my body, in my 50s, just like you, in your 50s.
All the facade stops today. I mean, I would guess you might have drank this morning.
No, I just didn't sleep all night. I wanted to, but
Regardless.
I got here so early. There was a bar across the way, and I was saying, but I didn't do it.
Here's where we are. We talked enough about your struggle. Now we're going to move on to the solution. And the solution for you is to commit and show up.
That's right.
All right? Thank you.
Trust, lean in,
Oh,
and
you're
stay.
welcome.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay around, okay? We'll be back with more of the Daily Helpline right after this. Coming up.
My boyfriend is good to me, but I'm not physically attracted to him. How do I get past that?
The funnier and the smarter you are, the more I'm going to want to get with you.
We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.